What's up, everyone on YouTube? I'm back with another reaction. It's been like half an hour since the Xiaoyu trailer dropped, and I've reacted to it and just uploaded a video. So hope you guys enjoyed that. And out of the blue, out of nowhere, we get reviews of like the alpha from Tekken 8 from like 3 different channels. Like we have GameSpot, IGN having their own preview and also spec. I don't know how much they difference each other, like how different they are, but we're talking about like the gameplay and also the mechanics of this game and what's different and what's still doable. So we have some new shit and footage and finally maybe some matches we can watch at Taken 8. So this is really interesting. Definitely gonna watch this and yeah, just listen to what they're saying and reacting to whatever happens now because I'm really interested now. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoying it, and let's get straight into it.
Tekken 7 is a pillar of the fighting game
Okay,
community.
sorry.
Tekken 7 is a pillar of the fighting game
What the
community
fuck?
for a reason.
Oh.
It's the most refined
Okay, yo.
the 3D fighter has
Down
ever
back to...
been, and there's nothing quite like some good ass Tekken. Even so,
Very
there's
cool.
always
Yo.
room to evolve.
Okay, Lars and Jin. Jin is in rage, man. Look at the particle effects. This game looks crazy.
After I got a
Jin... this looks like a P2 color alteration from the first normal costume.
few hours of hands-on time with
Sorry, this can take a long time. This could be a very big video. So much new shit is happening. We have Lars and Jin on a new stage, which kind of reminds you of like Forgotten Realm, and Lars that fought for 1+2 to destroy the wall, kind of like on the war stage where they are breaking the wall.
After I got a few
And it
hours
bounces
of
back.
hands-on time
No, it doesn't. It just destroys the wall
with a preview build
into
of
combat.
Tekken.
Okay, so this is just like a generic wall breaker.
After I got a few hours of hands-on
Like 1+2.
with a preview
Okay,
build
yeah, sorry.
of Tekken 8, it's clear how it can take the franchise in a bold new direction.
That looked sick. Oh, electric.
That freshness is
Let's
the
think forward,
core
jab, back forward
gameplay
2. Okay.
mechanics, specifically
Electric.
the heat system.
Interesting. Every time it does electric, the camera dynamically changes. Look at how the electric always changes the camera.
That
There.
freshness is the core gameplay
He drops the combo
mechanics,
again.
specifically the heat system and special style,
Heat?
as well as smaller changes that reward aggressive.
My man did
And special
heat
style,
into
well
forward 2 into cancel, and you most likely get back 3 afterwards. Back 3 then 1 2 or something. He drops it. That's the new Devil Jin. White Scene 2 kind of move.
Aggressive play. Turning up the heat system.
CD1.
The heat system represents a fundamental change with Tekken's gameplay. It's a
Wow.
new gameplay mechanic.
Wow, look at the damage. That did nothing. What was the launcher?
Turning up
CD1.
the heat system.
It did no
the
damage.
Heat system represents
Not optimal though, but still scaling.
Gameplay. It's a brand new gameplay mechanic for every fighter on the Tekken 8 roster that
on back 1 heat
once per round allows you to
about 1+2 heat
to access new attacks, open opportunities for sick combos, and
heat smash.
Your character's core moveset.
So many
Think of it
effects
as
though.
Another meter that can create an advantage for you by
Back
allowing
3
you
to
to
2.
be more offensive in your approach.
Heat smash.
However, the intricacies of using the heat system effectively is where the game gets more technical.
Heat smash.
Heat burst is an attack executed by a single button press that activates your heat state and adds 1 stock to your heat gauge.
Down back 2 Zen 1.
Attack hits you, you get a flashy little move that opens up
Down back 2.
and even on block,
Yeah, low hit.
it at least
Didn't work.
your opponent briefly. But you also
CD3
have
still there.
engages, which are more
Yep,
complex,
CD3 looks sick
character-specific
in Devil.
moves that also activate heat and add 2
What
stocks
was that
to your
move?
gauge. You can follow up heat engages with a heat and
Hold your fucking horses.
which are more complex, character-specific moves that also
Launcher into heat cancel.
and add 2 stocks
Resplit
to your gauge.
into heat
You can
smash.
follow up heat engages with a heat dash,
Jesus.
consuming 1 heat stock, which will send your character running towards the opponent,
Right.
giving you the chance to start a big combo. If the heat engager is blocked, you can still use a
Pressure.
heat dash to close the gap and keep applying pressure.
Heat smash.
Lastly, there is the heat
This
smash.
stage looks cool.
Regardless of how
Heat
much
smash.
heat and stock you have left, it will deplete the rest
Completely.
of the meter in exchange for a powerful attack akin to a super
Come
or
back one.
EX move seen in other fighting games. Those are just some of the options you'll be working with while under a heat
While running
state.
free.
More passive
But for free,
effects
yeah,
are also
cool.
crucial to gaining the upper hand. For example,
Bam.
heat can enhance certain moves to make them do more damage.
What happened to his
or
down
change
forward
the
1-2?
properties of the moves themselves. For example,
Wow, the
Jin has
camera.
a few strong attacks that also inflict damage on herself. But when she has heat active,
smash.
this property is negated, allowing you to use those attacks without penalty. Xiao Yu gets access to more devastating combo strings.
Wait, what did they say?
Strong
June?
properties of the
Sorry.
moves themselves. For example, Jun has a few strong attacks that also inflict damage on herself. But when she has heat active, this property is negated, allowing you to use those attacks without penalty.
It's exactly what I said. I said it like to my brother that it reminds you a bit of like Hong from Soul Calibur 6 where you have moves. It's not completely like that, but you have moves that you have to use wisely because they deplete your health. Hong has something a bit similar. Kilik also has something like this a bit in Soul Calibur 6. But while she's in heat, that's just gone. That's a bit different like Soul Calibur, but interesting.
Xiao Yu gets access to more devastating combo strings.
The damage
King
is a
has
bit
inescapable throws, and Kazuya transforms into devil
inescapable foes.
These are just a few examples of
Long.
how every character plays even more differently
1+2.
now and
Bam, bam,
bleeds
bam.
harder.
My guy. What is this damage?
Every character
What?
plays even more differently now
Bam,
and
bam,
bleeds
bam.
harder.
He has down forward 4 back from Tekken 5. Oh my god.
Every character
He has
plays
down forward
even
4.
more
Look at
differently
this.
now
Back forward 2, 1.
bleeds
Down forward 4 from Tekken 5.
harder
Are you kidding?
into their specific fighting styles to bring a
What is
new
this?
now and leans harder into their specific
Back to
fighting
1?
styles to bring
I don't know. Looks a bit like a Zen 1+2.
a new depth and diversity to Tekken's brawls.
Nice conversion.
Tekken series director Katsuhiro Harada
Wow.
also sees this as a
Wait,
way to intrigue
punish.
players into learning characters they wouldn't otherwise play. Quote, because of the differences in the heat system for
This
each
game looks
individual
insane.
character, players will start off with their main, but then they'll see the command list and see what makes another character more unique in a heat state that they'll gradually want to try other
I
characters.
was hoping, cause maybe this is still an alpha, but like we saw that one moment where Paul did his Tekken 3 intro pose,
Other
but
characters
here nothing.
more unique in a heat state that they'll gradually want to try other characters as well, and we
Heat.
really think it will induce that exploration. It's also another
back
layer
1-3.
that high-level players are
Heat
going
smash.
to have to account for when facing certain
The
characters
fuck
and
is that?
attempting to reach their opponent. You have to
Excuse me, what?
account for when
Power Crush?
facing certain characters and attempting to
Power Quad running charge tackle kinda.
reach their opponent. The heat
Jeez.
system has essentially
Excuse me?
certain characters and attempting to read their opponent.
Silent entry 2 into
The heat
4?
system has essentially
Huh?
replaced Rage Drive from Tekken 7. While they share a few similarities, Heat is designed to give players more control over how to use their character throughout a match. Rather designed
What
to
was
give
that?
players more control over how to use their character
Oh, 2
throughout
plus
a
3?
match, rather than just when they're low on health. Although each character still has Rage Arts at low health, which
Oh
is
my.
now a unified command input. As
Ah,
such,
okay.
Heat isn't necessarily
You
which
can
is
do that from
now a
neutral.
unified command input. As
Bam.
such, Heat isn't necessarily a comeback mechanic and is
GCF2 is a
instead
launcher.
layer that changes the flow of a match and
Like
opens
for
up
free.
new possibilities in competitive play. As a Tekken veteran,
She still has forward 2. She did forward 2.
opens up
We thought she
new
doesn't have forward 2 from the trailer,
possibilities in
but she has
competitive
that.
play.
2 fairy.
As a Tekken veteran, I
Down for the
appreciate the
one.
dynamic
New
it
move.
creates, smartly weaving the core tenets of the franchise and its characters
This game
into
looks
a mechanic
wild.
that adds depth
So
without
aggressive.
overshadowing the gameplay foundation that has made Tekken
New
special
move.
in the
Oh,
first place.
4-4-4? She has 4-4-4. This is 1+2. New move.
Made Tekken
4-4-4.
special
And then she
in the
has 4-4-2-2.
first place. Tekken 8 is all about offense. The changes in core mechanics were also intended to encourage more aggressive playstyles, and this manifests in multiple ways. For the heat system in particular, once it's active, it'll last for 10 seconds, so you'll definitely want to make the most of it. However, the timer pauses when you're in the middle of an attack animation or when your opponent is down.
Heat.
This means it's possible to be in a heat state for a lot longer if you play your cards right.
Jeez.
Attacks during heat, as well as other powerful moves in a normal state, will also cause chip damage, but leave behind recoverable health,
You're in the bin.
which hasn't been a feature since Tekken Tag Tournament 2. Recoverable health is
Yeah,
indicated
it's not the
by a
same in
gray
Tag
bar
2,
in
but
the
yeah.
player's health gauge, and it can be
Back
gained
to
back
one.
by landing attacks, further rewarding aggressive
Nice.
play. And while it's not exactly a change to the gameplay system itself,
What
rage
the
arts have been
fuck?
revamped to now be bombastic, over-the-top animations with cinematic cuts, like their out of Dragon Ball Fighter Z or Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm. Just watch back Laz's rage art in Tekken 8 and tell me he's not channeling his best impression of Sasuke's Chidori with his super fast lightning strikes. Every character has a new rage art animation, and I can imagine the hype they'll build as a player in a heated moment or as a spectator on the edge of their seat.
He looks
Although
cool.
they may seem like small features, Tekken 8 seems to be addressing one of the criticisms
running
of the
looks
competitive
weird.
scene. Slower and not so exciting moments where players hunker down to play extra defensively. There can still be an element of that in Tekken 8, but at least both players have new offensive tools.
Wall crush. Oh. Wall crushes are still in the game. New tactics.
To create avenues for turning the tide of a match. A special
It's a different move. It's down back to 3. Okay. That's I don't like
of
that.
approachability.
But okay.
As if the aforementioned additions and changes aren't enough to shake things up, Tekken 8 also features what's called Special Style. It's a simplified control scheme for newcomers to do cool combos and stronger attacks, with easier strings of button inputs. Many fighting games have something similar to this, like Guilty Gear's stylish mode or Street Fighter 6's modern control scheme. What makes Tekken 8's special style different is that it can be toggled on and off instantly while in a fight. It does not take any frames or animations to swap between normal controls and special style.
Yeah,
You
we
just
don't really
press
care.
L1 or LB and your controls switch schemes. You can mix and match these control schemes as part of your approach in a match. Even Harada says that, theoretically, high-level players can find ways to take advantage of this system.
Oh, this is new because this is it because he lost 2
Theoretically,
rounds in a way
high-level players can find
2 rounds in a.
ways to take
He's 2-0. Show you.
advantage
It's a bit different.
of this system and incorporate it into their repertoire. Quote, it wasn't just designed for beginners, but for intermediate and advanced players as well. From the start, when we decided to have it as something you can do on the fly, that opened up all these different possibilities that we were thinking of when actually
Yeah, this looks
designing
hella
the system
mashy.
itself, he said.
Nothing to
Harada
learn from you.
continued, quote, for more advanced players, I guess you could say one good
You get them,
example
you do.
is in the past with Rage Arts. Some of them required double button presses, and if you're in a tournament,
They look
with your
different,
nerves
dirty.
just going crazy,
They have those
even
effects back
players
as
would
well.
sometimes mess up, so they would sometimes bind it to one button to reduce those kinds of risks.
Gazer.
We saw similar things in our debugging team, where maybe they would switch with a certain timing if they wanted to use a certain movement and didn't want to mess it up. Lowering the barrier to entry is key to onboarding players, but another one of the noticeable shortcomings of Tekken 7, especially
down
by
for one
today's
too.
standards, was its lack of proper
Wow.
tutorialization. Commands
Cool.
lists, suggested combos, and a free practice training
What the fuck was that?
proper tutorialization, command lists,
Man, stomping on the ground?
combos, and
Oh dear lord. Some AoE kind of move hitting the ground might be a low unblockable.
free practice
What the fuck is happening?
training mode are all well and good for those with some fighting
Heat
game or
mesh.
Tekken experience, but newcomers or lapsed players don't have much to guide them. I noticed Tekken 8's in-game command list has
You did.
detailed explanations for what each character's moves do and their properties, and some even include suggestions on how to incorporate them into combos or specific situations. Tekken can get quite complex, and with a huge roster, it's tough to get good
Just like Soul Calibur. I hope every character has that. If you win with Rage Shot, you have something like special win pose or like special cutscene.
with each character, so it gives me hope that Tekken 8 could properly address this area. Getting ready for the next battle. The new mechanics of Tekken 8 aren't necessarily new to fighting games in general, but in the context of the series and Tekken's core gameplay, it brings a whole other dynamic that can change the course of competitive play. Upon first impression, and with a couple hours of playing the preview build,
Down
I
for the one,
immediately
okay.
felt the nudge towards playing
New move.
aggressively, which is the developers in
What the fuck?
play. Upon first impression, and with a couple
Forward
of
2,
playing the preview
down forward 1, which looks completely different animation.
build, I
Jab and back to 1.
felt
New
nudge
screw
towards playing
into heat smash.
aggressively, which is the developer's intent.
That's no damage
It's
though.
the Tekken I know and love, but with a few extra tools that keep the momentum going in each match.
Jun looks crazy.
I didn't have enough time in the lab to see all the potential.
Did you see? Wait. Let me check something again.
It's the Tekken I know and love, but with a few
You see how that move did
the
her
developer's
damage?
intent.
That
It's
June move, the
Tekken
pillar.
I know and love,
Look now, the health bar from June when she does this.
few extra tools
It's giving her white bars, so if she continues the combo, she gets the health back. But nonetheless, they cost health.
that keep the momentum going in each match. I didn't have enough time in the lab to see all
Did you see the chip damage on while running
the
free?
momentum going in each match. I didn't have enough time in the lab to see all the potential
Oh,
of the heat
God.
system, get a full grasp of my old favorite in June, or reacquaint myself with Zhao Yu, but I can't wait until I can. Unfortunately, we still don't know when Tekken 8 will launch, but when it does, it'll
What
be
the
available
fuck?
for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC.
Really cool. Let's see if the other videos are any different. So we definitely see something new instantly. Just jump straight into the next video. We see Kazuya doing his Tekken 7 intro pose, I think. Loud as hell. Wait, sorry. He looks cool. He looks really good.
As a child of 90s and early 2000s arcades, I've been a casual
Oh yeah.
enjoyer of the
Sorry,
Tekken
sorry.
series
Like,
pretty much all throughout its lifespan. With it
what was that intro pose from Kazuya and King?
growing up as a child of 90s and early 2000s arcades,
Okay.
I've been a casual enjoyer of the Tekken series pretty much all throughout its lifespan.
Jesus, straight into
being a
devil.
regular spot where I would dump a few quarters, mash some buttons, and walk
Yeah,
away
the
with a
bit
smile
rate on
my
this video is a
face.
bit
I've put
bad.
some time into just about all of them, but never really attempted to learn the deeper
Wait, shut.
complexities of its mechanics,
Bop.
or really sat down to try and become good with a character.
Ah, in
That's
silence.
going to change with Tekken 8 because
Hmm.
after spending about 4 hours with it,
Sick.
I'm all in.
Tekken 7 music though.
While I am a self-admitted casual fan of the Tekken series, I have at least dabbled enough into Tekken 7 to be able to talk about the most defining differences between it and Tekken 8. Chief among those changes is the new heat system, which is all about enforcing
forward
one
1
of
4.
Tekken 8's biggest design goals, rewarding aggression. With the press of a button, a character can use a heat burst to enter heat mode.
Back
The effects
to
of it differ from
wow.
character to character, but in general, you can view it as a limited time state where you're basically better at everything. Certain moves have new properties, others recover faster, making them more advantageous on block, and you gain access to new moves that aren't available outside of heat. One of the key elements of heat mode is that while it is time limited, with a meter that slowly depletes once activated, you can actually stop that meter
That's
from
so
going
sick.
down by landing attacks. This is just one of the ways that Tekken 8 looks to encourage its players to be more aggressive. Because if you're able to push the pace and land hits while in heat mode, you can keep that state
This
going
gameplay looks
throughout
similar to the
most,
other one,
if
though.
not all of the round.
Why am I stupid?
And if you decide that you instead want to cash out on damage rather than remain in heat mode, you can use a Heat Smash, which is like a mini Rage Art super move that does a large amount of damage but spends the rest of your heat meter.
Am I stupid?
The heat system goes deeper than that too.
This is
addition to there
similar.
being a heat meter,
Are they
there
using all the
also
same
these little icons that govern your
they all use
usage
the
of
same
certain
gameplay or what?
actions while in heat mode. This is
Oh.
called heat energy, and if you enter heat mode with a heat burst, you'll only get one stock of it. However, if you use what's known as a heat engager, you'll enter
Maybe
heat
not.
mode with 2 stocks. These are special moves that, when landed, will instantly put your character into the heat state. Every character has 5 of them, and they're usually a handful of the most defining moves of each character. After you land a heat engager, you can spend 1 stock of heat energy to use a heat dash.
What? You're telling me if you drop your electrics, you can convert into twin piston? Get out of town.
Every
Get
character
out of
has 5
town,
of them,
bro.
and they're usually a
What do you
handful of
mean?
the most defining moves of each character. After you land a heat engager,
He drops the electric, he does twin
spend 1
piston
stock
and gets a combo.
of heat energy to use a heat dash.
Is this the first time we are seeing
After
CD41
you land a heat
into
engager, you can
Godfist?
spend 1 stock of heat energy
Into Heaven's
to
Gate?
use a
It might be.
heat dash, which lets you quickly dash in to either connect combos that otherwise could not be connected, or if the
Thank
heat
God I'm
engager
watching
is
this.
blocked, you can just get right back up in their
Right
face
thing
to
too.
continue your offense.
Nice.
So let's pause and slow things down as we look at this example
1
to
second.
continue your offense.
Did Jack did the
So
Tekken
let's
3
pause
thing?
and
He
slow things
did!
down as we look at this example between
Kinda.
Paul and Jack 8. Paul lands his Phoenix Smasher, which is one of his 5 Heat Engager special moves. Landing a Heat Engager gives him a free dash that he can use to get in close, but I actually don't think that this is a true combo. Nonetheless, he lands that cool launcher into throw combo from the trailer. Then he lands another Phoenix Smasher, and when you land a Heat Engager during Heat mode, you're able to use a Heat Dash to
No.
continue the combo. So he spends a stock of Heat Energy on a Heat Dash, picks him up off the ground, and finishes with a Heat Smash. Note that Paul now no longer has any heat meter to work with for the rest of the round. My favorite element of the heat system, though, is how it's used to further define the unique aspects of every character. Each character has at least one completely unique advantage while in heat mode. For example, while in heat mode, King gets armor on his Jaguar run, making him a grappler with an armored command run to get in on opponents.
Right.
Kazuya, meanwhile, can execute his iconic
Devil.
electric wind god fist technique without having to be frame perfect on the input. What I also love about the heat system is that it's available right at the start of every round. It's not a comeback mechanic, and you don't need to build up a meter.
Oh. They changed the devil animation after 20 fucking plus years. I can't
Right at the start of
believe it.
every round. It's not a comeback mechanic, and you don't need
After 20 years they changed the fly up. He pose looking ass animation.
to build up a meter in order to gain
Oh my
access
god.
to it. You're free to use it whenever and however you please. The already existing comeback mechanic from Tekken 7, Rage, does make a return, with it once again causing a character to go into a rage state once they reach a critical level of health. While in the rage state, your damage increases and you gain access to your ultra powerful rage art technique. That said, rage drives are a thing of the past, largely because it's a mechanic that felt redundant due to the addition of the heat state and the advantages it provides. Another brand new element of Tekken 8 is the addition of a special control type, which is Tekken 8's new attempt at making its complex fighting system a little more approachable for newcomers. When in special control mode, each button has a recommended move and combo for each character. There's a button for juggle combos, a button for grounded combos, and a button for quick low attacks. The selected moves even change depending on what state you're in. While this allows new players to compete with more intermediate players in terms of the damage they're able to output, The key thing to keep in mind is that players using the special control scheme only have access to a very small selection of moves. The most interesting part, though,
just like
of the
Street
special
Fighter.
control scheme, and the thing that really sets it apart from Street Fighter 6's new modern control scheme, is the fact that you can switch between the classic and special control styles mid-match with the press of a button. This makes it actually a fairly viable option for more experienced players as well, as you could be playing the match out in the classic control scheme.
What do I
suddenly
have
an
with that?
opportunity for a big punish, quickly swap to the special control style, and start mashing out a combo without fear of it dropping. It also seems like a
Get
great
out of
learning tool
town.
to be able to quickly jump in with a new character and get a feel for what their moves and combos are going to look like without having to memorize a whole bunch of techniques just to be competitive. Those are all pretty
But that's the
substantial
fun
changes,
part.
so it's comforting to know that everything else still feels like some good-ass Tekken. In my playtime, I mostly experimented with King, who's just as much of a powerhouse as he's always been. One of my favorite changes to him is that his reverse arm slam combo has been simplified, allowing him to go into the next throw in the chain with a single button press as opposed to a series of inputs.
Get out of
that need to
town,
be
what do you
memorized.
mean?
Now, he still does have the ladder, and those are probably more damaging and harder to break, but as someone who's always loved
I see.
King, but was always intimidated by all of the commands needed to do a full chain grab combo, I appreciate having at least one that I could easily commit to memory and rely on pretty much from the get-go of learning the character. I want to give a shout out to Tekken 8's command list too.
Wow,
which
look
does
at
a
the
great job of
animation
giving extra
from
context
Kazuya. He
to
looked
the
so
recommended
different.
moves for
Wait, hold up.
command list too, which does a great
And I thought they fixed the freaking... I'm breaking my own spine. Yeah,
giving
it's still the
extra
same.
context
Okay.
to the recommended moves for every
Unfortunately.
character. It told me recommended combos,
It's okay.
moves to use that are advantageous on block, what moves will launch an opponent, what to do after launching them, what to do after activating heat mode, and much more. These move lists are extremely intimidating, with each of them containing hundreds of
Don't get
techniques,
cocky.
and Bandai Namco is really putting in the effort by making them much more user-friendly. After my playtime was over, I left
Todometa.
with a renewed enthusiasm to get into Tekken on a more serious level. Tekken 8 looks phenomenal. Its
Oh,
hits feel as
shit.
impactful as ever, and
It looks different depending if you're P1 or
this
P2.
level. Tekken 8
The camera.
looks phenomenal. Its hits feel as impactful as ever, and its iconic cast of characters are even more uniquely defined thanks to the new heat system. There's still a lot we have yet to see, but
Yeah.
as far as first impressions go, Tekken 8 is a knockout.
Looks sick. Did this eye glow? Are you kidding me? No, it's the effect from the KO. My bad.
For more Tekken 8, make sure to check out my interview with
What the fuck? Where did that come from? Why did they...
For more Tekken 8,
Why did they have that? Okay, sick.
make sure to check out my interview with Michael Murray and Katsuhiro Harada. And for everything else, keep it here on IGN.
Okay, I don't know if Spike's video is any different. This is gonna be the last one. We'll see.
Ladies and lads, Spag here. Hope you're all doing well. Thanks to Bandai Namco, I was invited to the Bandai Namco EU headquarters
Spag the
in Lyon,
legend,
France,
the homie.
and got to play Tekken 8 early. The game felt amazing, and after playing the game and talking to the developers, it's clear that they've made changes to the game to make it more aggression based. There's a lot to go over for this system overview, so let's get straight into it. Ladies and lads, Tekken 8 system overview.
System overview. Let's see
So
again.
first up, let's go over the general system
From someone that
changes
plays
for
Tekken
Tekken 8.
properly. Like, we'll see.
Number 1, running tackles no longer exist. I
What? I'm already...
suppose that was a change made to prevent people getting an advantage by being too far away. because in Tekken 7, if you're far away enough from your opponent and you run in,
What?
you do a plus on block running tackle, which is actually a power crush as well. So it gives you a little bit of an advantage. In past Tekken games before Tekken 7, it was actually an unblockable. But now, if you were to run in on your opponent, you'll just stop right in front of them. Number 2. Forward into hold forward actually makes the character run now.
What?
Now this was a little bit weird for me to get used to at first, but it makes it much easier to approach and do running moves. But don't worry, it doesn't make it possible to do instant running. I think this was just a change to allow people who are new to the game to perhaps be able to get in much easier. So forward into hold forward will give you a run. Number 3, wall bounces no longer exist in Tekken. Now this is from what we saw. We played a lot of different characters and it doesn't seem like any of them had wall bounces.
Thank God.
The wall bounce was added into the game with Geese's back 2 back in Tekken 7.
Yep.
And then eventually
everyone got it, yep.
But I don't think they exist anymore in Tekken. Next up, we've got a big one. Get up kicks no longer knock you down, even on counter hits. This is a huge change. Maybe prevent players being scared to approach the opponent on the floor.
No more cheeky get up kick.
I'm personally happy with this one as I got hit by these a lot. So you're not going to be knocked down anymore, not going to be launched by running into a get up.
Crazy.
Okay. Ladies and lads, the next one is a massive change, maybe even the biggest. Magic 4s no longer launch on counter hit. This is a huge change. Magic 4s have always been an incredible answer
since
to
always
play,
since Tekken 5.
Changed. In order to get a Magic 4 counter hit launch, you now have to commit to a full string like Laws 4-3. But doing that puts you at risk of getting ducked and launched. So there's now more risk to throwing out a Magic 4.
That's
now,
huge.
I don't know how you're gonna feel about this.
Huge.
Some people will be happy, some people will be upset.
Huge.
But this will definitely force a player to play more aggressive and actually encourage them to play more aggressive. You're no longer scared of getting hit by an 11 frame, 12 frame count hit launcher. You can throw out those down forward.
Go keep out with Magic 4.
Fishing. You won't get hit too badly. Now this one is gonna shock you. It might actually make you laugh as well.
Do this like this.
Because it made me laugh. Right. Here we go. Rage arts are now minus 13.
What
Yes,
do you mean?
Correctly. You heard it right. Rage arts are
What do
no
you mean?
longer
What?
launch punishable.
Huh?
Now, this is from what we tested with some of the characters, and I don't know if this is going to remain the way it is. But definitely a 100%, no mistakes, the rage arts were not launch punishable when we played the game. So I wonder if that is, again, a change they've decided to make to prevent players from being scared to throw it out. I think they want players to throw it out and not be punished too hard for it. Either way, rage arts still do a lot of damage, and yeah, they're not going to be punished too heavily now. The next change is a small one, but it's still quite significant. Spring kicks no longer knock you down on hit.
What do you mean?
And I think this makes sense now given the other changes, because as you know, they've already nerfed get up kicks.
Get up is
they're nerfing spring kick
shit
as well.
now.
They really want players to be able to approach their opponent on the floor.
Oh dear
being scared to get hit by
lord.
a get up kick or a spring kick. The next change is something we anticipated. Low parries no longer give combo extenders like tailspin unless you use the heat burst. And this makes it so much less risky to use lows, because in Tekken 7, even using a relatively safe low, or even a safe one, can lead to 50% of your health being gone. So this is definitely a welcome change. Now this one you guys already knew, but chip damage now exists in Tekken, but it leaves recoverable health. Now one thing you might not have known though, is that when you're in rage, that chip damage is much less. And as the developers already said, you cannot actually die from chip damage.
Yeah.
So there you have it. Here are the changes
What?
from Tekken 7 to Tekken 8.
That is
I was able to
huge. That
identify
is
from playing
huge.
the game. Now I didn't
you
go over
kidding?
heat system because we're going to be talking about that later in a second.
This video is
part.
already insane.
But before that, let's go over the things that still exist
Tekken 6
and
music.
are the same between Tekken 7 and Tekken 8. So number 1, flip over Oki still exists. So moves
Yeah,
like
me
Asuka
neither.
or Jun's forward 2 will still flip you over when you're on the ground and force you into another mix-up. Now, I'm sure you'll be pleased to know, but throws are very much similar to Tekken 7. You can break generic grabs with 1 or 2, and the
Yeah,
throw break windows
I knew
are
that.
really similar to Tekken 7. Overall, it felt pretty easy to break grabs. Now, I know if I don't mention this, I'm going to get a million dislikes on this video, so I might as well mention it right now. Ladies and lads, the movement feels very similar to Tekken 7.
Ah,
Like, honestly, it felt very fluid, and it might be either the same as Tekken 7 or even better. I
okay.
noticed that some characters still had different backdashes, but in general, the movement felt good. And I think that if we want to know if it is actually better than Tekken 7, we'll have to wait and do
Yeah,
some framework. See
obviously.
how the backdash is and see how the sidestep is and everything. But in general,
Hard
it
to
feels
tell.
really good. Next up, combo extenders are still a thing. Now, Tekken 7 combo extenders were from moves which had forward momentum and was called the tailspin. In Tekken 8, the combo extenders have an upwards motion and
Yep.
feels more like a tail flip. The moves launch you upwards and allow you to connect moves a lot easier. Because of the upwards momentum of the tail flip, it means that you get less wall carry, but it's a lot easier for you to connect your combo ender
That's true.
because you don't have to dash in as far. And as you can see in this example, Jack's even able to do a dash into up 1+2 to get a wall splat. A unique thing about this tail flip though is that it actually works at the
We saw
wall,
this at the
similar
beginning.
to Tekken 6 bound. So now you can go for a full wall carry and save your combo extender
That's crazy.
for the wall. As you can see here in this example,
She does the
Nina
tailspin at
string
the end.
flips up the opponent and almost re-wall splats. In another example, you see Law get a wall splat and use down to 3 as a tail flip to get another higher wall splat. However, this does count as an extra wall hit, so getting the 4-3 with the DSS Dragon Cannon
It's not possible.
actually didn't work here as demonstrated in the clip. So in Tekken 6 you had the bound which gave you downwards momentum. In Tekken 7 you had the tail spin which gave you forward momentum.
Yeah.
And now in Tekken 8 you have the tail flip which gives you upwards momentum. Finally, power crushes are still in the game. Now power crushes have been described as being a very good answer to dealing with heat pressure, as you can see in the example in the video. We
Okay.
still don't know what the properties of these power crushes are in terms of when they activate and all the kind of nerdy frame stuff about it, but they are still in the game and they do have a lot of utility. So be ready to learn what your character's power crushes are, because I think they're going to be important. So there you go. That's more or less all the similarities between Tekken 7
Movement
and
is
Tekken 8
interesting
as
for
far as
sure.
system goes. Now let's talk about the heat system.
I might
The
skip
heat
this.
system is a period of an extendable 10 seconds where your character has access to multiple strong
Let's watch it,
defensive
whatever.
options. I'm going to be talking about 2 main subjects here to break this down. Number 1, how to enter heat, and number 2, heat energy. The 2 main ways to enter heat are heat engager and heat burst. Starting with
Heat engager,
engagers,
is this?
heat engagers are special moves which automatically puts the player into heat
Everyone has
and
5.
runs at the opponent to get a significant advantage. Each character is said to have an average of 5 of these, and as you can see, can be very, very oppressive. Heat can be a great way to start your offense, but as you can see in the video, can also be used to extend
In the combos.
An important detail about heat engagers though, is that they're only going to put you into heat if the moves hit.
Yeah.
Heat burst is the other way you can enter into heat. Heat burst is a Tekken 6
The bound
type
combos.
move, which puts the player into heat at a slight advantage on block and hit. The difference here is that on heat burst, you can enter into heat even on block. You can use both heat engager and heat burst to make some pretty interesting combos. Now when it comes to heat energy, you want to keep 2 things in mind. Heat dash and heat smash. Let's talk about heat energy now. As you can see in the corner of the heat bar, you have 2 chains that look like the number 8. That's heat energy and allows you to perform additional functions such as heat dash and heat smash. When you're in heat, you can choose to use heat dash, which is where the character dashes forward after using one of the heat engager moves to give you more advantage on block or extend combos, and even
Only
turn
after the heat
moves
engager
into
moves.
launches. Heat dashes deplete 1 heat energy each usage. Heat smash, on the other hand, is a special attack which takes all of your heat meter and energy. Entering heat with heat engager gives +2 heat energy, and entering with heat burst gives +1 heat energy. Heat lasts 10 seconds but stops depleting while you're attacking, blocking, in the air, or if you're being attacked.
In the air as
Depleting
well.
while you're attacking, blocking, in the air, or if
okay.
you're being attacked. An important detail about heat also is that when you have heat and you attack, you will be gaining back your chip damage on block and
Right.
on hit. Another interesting detail is that there are chains around the character avatar when heat is available. Heat is a big part of Tekken 8. It's going to be so significant to the competitive scene and even the casual scene. So get used to it and get ready to make some sick combos. The final thing I'll talk about is the special style, which Bandai Namco created in order to help new players getting into Tekken.
Yeah, let's skip
from
this
cool
part.
combos to learning Tekken. Ladies and lads, in the comments,
Let's leave it at this, because we have heard this like 2 times now. So, wow. A lot to take in, a lot of content to take in, and a lot of gameplay we have seen. There might be more than this. We have watched 3 videos now, we are at 40 minutes now, so I'm just gonna stop it now. And if there's anything more or anything I haven't seen yet, I'll do another reaction to this. But for now, I'm just gonna have to take this deeply in, watch other people's reactions, see what they think. It looks really cool, but very, very aggressive. That rage shots are not launch punchable and get up kicks are like kinda useless. It's interesting. Yeah, I don't know, we just have to see. But yeah, thank you for watching. I know this was a long video. I don't know how this is coming out later on, but yeah, I'm not gonna keep you waiting for more. Thank you for watching. If you like what you're seeing, please subscribe. And yeah, let me know what you think about this. And if you're hyped for Tekken 8, we might see more trailers this week. We don't know. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I wish you a good day. Take care.